we going? Oh, sorry folks, I was chatting to Jay about just some random stuff. Hey, they might have seen your special bait, Jay, don't tell them about that. Right, you lovely lot. So I want to talk you through how to hold your pole correctly whilst you're feeding through a catapult. Is that right, Rich? Or basically just feeding through a catapult whilst you're fishing and holding your pole. So first one is going to be, so most open waters I'm going to be starting off short if I've not got like a method chuck, and I'll starting off short on the pole, your top kit, and usually sort of 3 sections on. Now this time of year, well, to be fair, most of my fishing is based around shallow fishing, but this time of year I'll be starting off short, and what I want to do is prime my shallow swim. It's different on a snake lake, you know, where you're on the mud line. Stop pre-baiting, Jay. Where you're on the mud line across, you can just loose feed by hand. You don't really need a catapult. Having said that though, catapulting has been working well on snake lakes. Oh, we can come to that later. So the way to feed it when you're fishing short is, let's get out top kit and 3. 1, 2, where are we up to? Where are we up to? Here we are. Top kit and 3 sections out. That'll rest in there. So when you're fishing the short line, you don't want to be over, get my feet on the foot plate, you don't want to be over both knees when you're fishing short. What I like to do is use a mark on my pole. So I'll come down to this joint and I'll line it up with a leg, something that doesn't move, so you know you can be accurate. Now, whilst I'm fishing there, what I want to be doing is priming my shallow swim. Today it's going to be at 14.5, but usually it's around 30 metres. But having said that, ideally if you're fishing shallow on open water, you want to be going a little bit further than those around you. So if either side of me are at 14.5, I want to go to 16. If they're at 16, I don't want to be putting 17 metres on, so I'll just put a Wagner on. But joking apart, most of the time it's between sort of 13 and 14.5 metres where you're going to be fishing shallow. So when you're fishing the short line, it's your pole, it's on over one knee, arm flat on the pole, so you can like really support it. You're getting all your weight onto that pole, so it's not going to move anywhere. Now Richie's got his GoPro expertly placed on these pellets here, so hopefully you're going to see how my hands positioned. Gone are the days where I'm gonna do it old school. You'll like this, Jay, you'll like this, Rich. I'm going to do it old school. So back in the day, this was the way you used to feed pellets. Hold the pouch, drop the catapult. The amount of times you drop your catapult off and you're like, no! And then you get some pellets looking at your bait all the time, like, yep, looking at that, not looking at your float. You've got to be looking at your float. Then you pick your catapult up, grab the knot, and then you fire your pellets in. That was the old school way. Don't do that anymore, folks. Well, at least I don't. There's a far more efficient way to do it. So again, go back to holding your pole. You're doing everything through one hand. So my left hand is coming into my bait. So I'm keeping an eye on this short rig all the time. With these fingers, you're getting them, Rich, you're getting them fingers there. They come into the pellets, still keeping an eye on my float. The pouch comes back to your right hand on the pole. Make sure you don't grab the floppy bit here, because your catapult goes on the limp. You don't want that. What you want to do is make sure you grab the bottom of the catapult so it remains stiff. Cheeky. Put the pellets in. Now, the main thing, I'm going to do it wrong to start with so I can show you. This is an area where, you know, myself and Jamie get all the time when they're coaching is the feeding wrong through a catapult in that they're not grabbing the knot. You'll watch what happens if I don't grab the knot. My pellets have felled out. That's what it's like with you every time, Rich, isn't it? So we'll do it again. So we'll go back into the pellets. Grab the bottom of the pouch. Pellets into the pouch, and then what you want to do is just slide the catapult up so you're grabbing the knot. You must grab the knot of the catapult, and then it's basically a case of following your pole. Just use your pole as a guide. Now I want to be roughly at sort of like, well, 14 metres I'm going to, 14.5 metres. Now I've got fish swirling there already, and that's it, that's at 14 metres. Roughly there or thereabouts. What you don't want to do is obviously overshoot your mark. That sounds a bit wrong, but you don't want to be constantly feeding at sort of 16 metres if you're fishing at 13 or 14.5. So I mean it's ideal at the minute. I've got fish swirling at around about 14.5, so I know I'm at the right distance, but if anything, sort of feed this side of it. So that's how you'd feed through a catapult if you're fishing short but you're priming it for long shallow. Waffling, aren't I? I love waffling. So when we come out long, in this instance we're going to 14.5 metres. We'll get out to 14.5 metres, so we're not going to hold our pole like that anymore. For support, arm flat on the pole, tuck it right into your body and lean into your pole, and there's no resistance whatsoever anywhere. I've talked through this loads of times. I did a little video in lockdown on it when we had our Chewy in the garden with his dog biscuits. Make sure your feet are completely flat on your foot plate. If ever you've got to lift your feet off, then your box is too high. So just drop a level off your box out, or, you know, actually lower your box. Your feet must be flat on the foot plate. Otherwise, you're putting too much strain on your lower back and you're just not going to get the accuracy. And then it's the exact same principle again, basically. So I'm going to use one hand, come into my pellets. I want to keep an eye on my float. So coming into there, getting my pellets, pouch back to my right hand on the pole. Again, always keeping an eye on your float. You'll notice I've not looked round where my bait is. I know where my bait is. Pellets into the pouch, slide it up, grab the knot, and then just follow your pole down. Oh, look at that. And then it's a slap over, wait 2 seconds, and boosh, you're into a fish. And that's how you do it, folks. It's like anything in fishing, it's just practice. The more you do something, the easier it gets. But that is the easiest way of fishing, by holding your pole and feeding through a catapult. Check it out, folks. I've said check it out again. Get on it, folks.